is Talking to My Thoughts. When we talk about being taught how to be a man, sometimes often it's not actually like a verbal teaching. It's not like someone's told you this is what you're meant to be or this is what you're meant to do. A lot of the time it's you being taught by what you see. So it's more so about what's reflected into the world and what you kind of connect with. So whether you see, I don't know, you got an uncle that you look up to or your dad that you look up to, and he's always shown himself as a strong man. You've never seen him cry. So then you just think, okay, well, that teaches me because I want to be as strong as him, I shouldn't be crying either. So it's not necessarily a verbal teaching.
I find that pretty interesting because I can imagine like when there's a loss, all the men are looking at each other hoping that one of them would cry so they can just cry too.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure everyone's feeling the same kind of hurt at that point if the person was close enough to them. So I have a feeling that it's probably like that. But when you watch, your assumption and your ego makes you think, he's not crying, I'm not doing it, I'm not doing it. So yeah, I can imagine how much of an inner battle that is. And sometimes, again, this is why we're talking to my thoughts is here to kind of have this open conversation, realize actually there's a lot of things that we all suffer with.
I think like for me, it's like I don't feel like crying and getting emotional in front of people is going to make the situation any different for me. The situation's still going to be the situation whether someone puts their, because when you cry and stuff, the automatic reaction for someone else to do is to like put their arm around you and comfort you and stuff like that. And it's like, for me, it's like, dude, that kind of stuff doesn't change anything. Do you know what I mean?
There's no right or wrong way. There's, it's a constant battle within yourself. If crying is your outlet, that's your outlet. But in certain environments, you wouldn't want to cry. But if you go back to everyone around you is crying, you now feel free to cry. You're now able to cry. Versus if everyone had stern faces and they're holding it in, you're going to naturally want to hold it in. I guess it's the environment that allows you to do it. And what you find is a lot of people will hold in their emotions and their grief, and it turns into anger. It turns into a different type of emotion because they can't find that release. And I think it's healthy to find a release. It doesn't have to be crying, For me, I go to the gym, I lift weights. That's my my release, isn't it?
Dealing with loss. Yeah, it's a touchy one. Not necessarily because it's just talking about how it affects you, but obviously when loss has affected you in such a big way through your life, it just trying to vocalize it can always just bring back a lot of sad times, I guess. I mean, considering my age, you would expect that there would be a few moments in my life where I would have lost people. Unfortunately, it's just the way it goes. The longer you live, the more you lose. Well, you gain a lot as well, but you lose people along the way, unfortunately. And I guess the way I manage it is, I don't even know if I do manage it, to be honest. It all depends on the circumstance. Sometimes it's a shock, sometimes it's a build up, a process, like whether the person's sick, but it doesn't change the way it affects you regardless, because at the end of the day, you've loved that person and the person is no longer with you. So I don't even know how I manage it, to be fair. It's just being around loved ones. I don't know, some people like to isolate themselves. I guess I go through phases, I go through stages of wanting to be isolated, wanting to be with my thoughts, and then upon reflection, wanting to be with the people that are grieving in the same way that I grieve, and trying to give each other strength. Yeah, it's not easy, man. I've taken loss hard in certain times, and I've taken loss easier in others. And I guess I don't know, maybe it stems down to how close, how connected you were with that person. As I said, regardless, you're gonna feel some kind of grief, some kind of pain, but how you get over that, I guess, is just the support with people. You need people around you. It's hard because I guess again, a lot of this comes down to being a man and being strong and not being, obviously people consider crying to be weakness in many respects, and I know people, friends, family who have been raised that way, and you see them at funerals without shedding a tear, and it could be someone as close to them as one of their parents, and they're just not crying. It's because, well, I've been raised not to cry. That's not what a man does. I ain't gonna lie, I do my best to hold it in, but that doesn't always happen. I have no problem crying. I have no problem letting it out. But at the same time, you still feel like you need to be strong for the people around you. You need to kind of show that strength. So yeah, it's almost like an inner battle or inner fight within yourself to try and be strong. And not show weakness, but at the same time you're hurting, you're in pain. Yeah. You can see me holding a stern face with a tear still in my eye. That's what I generally do. But yeah, it's not easy, man. Is there even a right way to manage it? That's the thing. I guess some people, depending on the circumstance, can be angry, can get aggressive. Other people obviously would isolate themselves. I think at the end of the day, the important thing is to address it, to manage it, to find a way to deal with it. There isn't a way to deal with it. There's multiple. And I think you just need to find your way. It's time. Time's a healer. It takes time, it takes patience, and it takes support. That's what I think.
I heard the news of my sister passing. My dad called me, kind of thing, and I kind of was just blank. I didn't feel any kind of emotion at all. I did feel emotion but it hadn't hit me yet, because I maybe partly because I wasn't there to see. So you don't believe it. You don't believe something until you really see it. But at the same time, I question myself, have I got a soul or something? Do I do you know what I mean? Why am I not in tears? Why am I not on the floor? Why am I not unconsolable? Why am I able to walk and drive and to the hospital and stuff like that? Why can I function properly when I've taken such a massive hit? Do you know what I mean? So I did really question myself as to where I am emotionally. Am I detached myself or whatever? But I've also taken losses as well before that, prior to that. It's losing someone, your friend, when you're young. It's different because you don't you're not taught these things. I've lost my nan, my granddad, and stuff like that. So I know about losses, but I didn't know a friend could just go. You think of back then, I used to think only people of a certain age can die. That's how I felt. And it's only recently that I kind of discovered to myself that his passing, I kind of almost ignored it. Not ignored it to the fact I didn't care or anything like that. It's just I didn't act on it. I didn't talk about it. I didn't emotionally. I just detached myself from the situation completely. And I don't think that was a good thing, because it led me to start believing things in my head that something was going to happen to me. When I was 15 or something like that, I couldn't see a future. I used to think, because he was taken away so young and what was happening with knife crime and stuff, I thought I was next. I'm not going to lie to you. I thought So I'm going to be walking down the street and something's going to happen to me. So from that, I just became literally emotionless because I just thought, what's the point in anything? Because tomorrow I could be gone. Like this person on the bus that's looking at me a bit weird, is this the person that's going to take me? And I used to think about that a lot, but I never used to really express and talk to anyone about it. And it's only until one of my friends said that, like, have you like planned for a future for yourself? Do you think about like happy times and things in the future, or are you just thinking too negatively because he's gone, you think you're going to go the same way, kind of thing? So yeah, it is kind of unhealthy not to talk about things and not to let things out and just to bottle things up. But I don't think necessarily the way that you express yourself and stuff is wrong in any way, because like you guys said, people grieve in different ways. Your outlet could be anything. Your outlet could be skydiving, gym, whatever it is. It can be that. So long as it's healthy for you, that's fine. What's wrong is when people try to tell you how to grieve. I think that's when things become unhealthy, because it's not you. Only you know how things are going to affect you and what's best for you. So if crying's not for you, it's not for you.